2019 Berkeley Visionary Awards. Always Steve Smith. Hi, my name's Kirsten McDonald. I run the Berkeley Chamber of Commerce, and I'm very happy that you all are here, especially Steve Smith, because he makes all the noises. Last week, I was asked by a local news reporter, what are the Berkeley Visionary Awards and why are they important? I think the answers to both of those questions are part of a continuum that grows with each consecutive year. But here, at the commencement of the 7th annual celebration, I can tell you why I think they're important in 2019. They were started in 2013 as a celebration of ingenuity and of free enterprise, when it seemed like our city didn't celebrate business enough. Over the years, the event grew. We awarded more businesses each year. Other award celebrations popped up in the area, and all of these developments helped to further define our mission of telling Berkeley's story of innovation. Berkeley is a tiny part of this region's robust innovation sector, but the innovation ecosystem that exists here in Berkeley is singular in its uniqueness. Flanked by a world-class university and a national laboratory, there is incredible access to elite brainpower and equipment. But underlying the apparatus of this ecosystem is a culture of consciousness that permeates the 350-plus companies in Berkeley's innovation sector. We like to call it innovation with conscience. I'm proud to say that all of the 20 visionaries awarded so far run the gamut from cancer research to beer making. They have all led their companies in a conscious way. And I think in this place, in this year, it is really important to say that out loud. All of our visionaries have been global in their mission to drive profits and to be citizens of a greater city, nation, planet. Our nominations list is an embarrassment of riches. We have enough visionaries to award for the next 10 years. So stay tuned and bear witness. We have an exciting program for you tonight. I want to thank my board selection committee, all of our sponsors, and a special shout out to our platinum sponsors, David Teese and the Berkeley Research Group, Berkeley Lab, Bayer, Wareham, Sutter Health. These platinum sponsors underwrite this event every year, and we literally could not put it on without them. So thank you for valuing this event. Lastly, my staff. The Berkeley Chamber is a small operation, just 3.5 employees. One of those 3.5 showed up today with 101 fever to make sure that this event got off the ground. Another showed up with a busted elbow and stuffed all of your name tags. So thank you for making their hard work worth it by being here. Without further ado, please welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Mike Witherell, Executive Director of the Berkeley Lab.
So I'm Mike Witherell, and as far as I know, I'm healthy, so I'm good. It's my great privilege to lead Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. It's perhaps the world's leading laboratory in developing scientific solutions to address some of the grand challenges in energy and the environment that we all know. Our lab is owned by the U.S. Department of Energy, and it's operated by the University of California as part of its missions of teaching, research, and public service. We perform about $1 billion of research each year. That's more than any university in the state of California, and it's mostly with federal funds. We have world-leading programs in physics, chemistry and materials, biological and environmental science, computing science, and applied math, and more than 3,000 people work at the lab, about half of whom are scientists and engineers. We're dedicated to developing the next generation of scientists, and as part of that, we work with schools in the East Bay. So can I have my first slide back? Yeah, so thank you. So these are some photos of some of the local students who took part in our K-12 programs. Those t-shirts celebrate the 150th anniversary of the periodic table. We discovered 16 of those, by the way. But more than any other institution, just saying. So, even other labs and universities that you know. So now go on to slide 2, thanks. So what Berkeley Lab provides the nation, it's scientific solutions addressing national priorities like sustainable energy, resilience, economy, environment, discovery science, unique scientific capabilities, national user facilities, advanced instrumentation, and manage large research teams, which is really our special skill. But we also develop important technologies with long, risky R&D paths that the nation needs. And what I'm going to talk a little more today is about a diverse group of highly trained, creative, and committed scientists and engineers, which is perhaps our most important contribution to the national welfare. Many of those could go across the bay and make more money, to be honest. But they are attracted to the lab by the opportunity to make real impact on the great scientific challenges facing society: advancing sustainable energy sources, providing safe, clean, and affordable water, developing the new bioeconomy, and using artificial intelligence and machine learning not to produce better ads, but to understand the origins of the universe. So next slide, please. So we are a basic research laboratory focused on solving some of the nation's most fundamental challenges. Some of our scientists and engineers also develop innovations from their research that drive economic development. Part of our culture is the pursuit of innovation for public benefit. I think this is a shared culture with the community in and around Berkeley, and it is part of the character of our lab. So I give you 3 examples here. Rebecca Abergel is a Berkeley lab chemist who developed a compound that removes radioactive contaminants from the body in case of a nuclear accident, which is pretty important. She's now adapting that compound to use for removing gadolinium left in the body from contrast agents that are used for about 1/3 of our MRI scans. Brett Helms and his group have developed a new plastic, PDK, which got a lot of press recently. It can be recovered in its original powder form by treatment in acid and then used again. That's real recycling, not sending it to China. It can then be used again as part of a circular economy for plastics. And Daojing Wang developed a technology of the lab that can dramatically accelerate the process of identifying proteins, peptide, other components within tiny amounts of biological samples. This patented technology is now being commercialized by Nuomics, a Berkeley-based company, which he launched to further develop the technology and build a platform for personalized healthcare. As many of you know, 5 years ago, in 2014, Berkeley Lab launched Cyclotron Road, which is our innovative technology fellowship program, with an emphasis on transformative energy, climate, and manufacturing technologies. Over 5 years, the program has recruited and supported 56 fellows to work here in Berkeley, and they have raised over $100 million in other funding to support their enterprises. Cyclotron Road Fellows, who are selected in a very competitive program, we had 180 people apply for those last year, are embedded for 2 years in the local research ecosystem. The lab provides salary, access to the lab and to UC Berkeley, and an intensive program of mentorship and training in entrepreneurship and networking. Every year, we recruit a cohort of entrepreneurial scientists from around the world. And this spring, the 5th cohort of fellows came, and they have already immersed themselves in this enriched, vibrant community of entrepreneurial scientists and engineers. Many of those fellows from previous cohorts, of course, have remained in Berkeley to grow their companies. Together with other incubators like Skydeck and Citrus Foundry, Cyclotron Road is empowering innovators to advance their ideas, leverage our unique research environment, and ultimately position them for broad societal impact. So could I have my last slide, please? So in your program this evening, there is an insert introducing a new initiative called Berkeley Ventures, Berkeley Values, which will help Berkeley's innovation sector grow in a way that leads to shared prosperity for the community. We are proud to be a partner in this initiative, along with the Berkeley Chamber, UC Berkeley, and our accelerator programs. I wanted to share with you that I have initiated a program at the lab to improve the performance of our research mission by promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. The program is called IDEA, inclusion, diversity, equity, and accountability. I have established a new position, a Chief Diversion, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, reporting directly to me. And its goals are fostering a diverse workforce, which in experience, perspective, and background, and culture of inclusion are key to attracting and engaging the brightest minds and furthering our record of scientific excellence. So we are working to develop an organizational culture that supports, celebrates, and encourages a variety of experiences, worldviews, and approaches. We're building a welcoming environment, and we are working to remove barriers to fair treatment, access, opportunity, and advancement. As a leading technology organization in the Bay Area, we think this is what we should be doing. So my goal in the end is to have to continue as the most successful national laboratory in the country. And I think in the future, this will require us to have this diverse environment, or we will not succeed at what we're trying to do. I think the lab's approach connects well with the Berkeley community, and in particular with Berkeley Ventures, Berkeley Values, and with this organization, which I applaud. Some 47 startups have been founded based on our technologies, and many more have been founded by scientists and engineers who first came to Berkeley to work at the lab. I am pleased that 5 of the Visionary Award winners in your card listed have been scientists at the lab. We're really proud to be so closely embedded with this program. So, in closing, I would like to congratulate the Berkeley Chamber of Commerce on its contributions to innovation in Berkeley and to innovation for the public good. Berkeley Lab is proud to be a partner with you. Thanks to Kirsten McDonald and everyone at the Chamber, all 3.5 of you, for your contributions to the community and all of the people out here who make this organization run. Thank you so much. So it's now my pleasure to invite Michael Berolzheimer, co-founder of Beat Partners, to the stage.
Hello, everyone. As a venture investor, it's my job to say no every day. But only about once every 250 times, I get to say yes. And tonight, I am honored to elevate the awareness of an incredible entrepreneur, one who has struggled mightily and yet achieved remarkable success, one who has sacrificed himself for the community, for his company, and yet has invested time into his community. And I'm sure you'll agree after tonight that Bhavin Parikh, co-founder and CEO of Magoosh, truly exemplifies a Berkeley visionary. As a Magoosh board member put it, Bhavin is the embodiment of persistence. During a particularly challenging time in the company's history, Magoosh then lost its co-founder to terminal cancer. Hansu's death was tragic, and no one, not even us as a venture investor in Magoosh, would have faulted Bhavin for throwing his hands up and shutting down the business. But he didn't. To quote that board member again, in good times, leadership is about being smart, but in bad, it's about being brave. And the only thing more awe-inspiring than Bhavin's savvy management of Magoosh's recent growth was his tenacity when hope was in short supply. Just years later, Magoosh now thrives without the need of investor capital, supporting millions of students and its customers every year and creating jobs both in Berkeley and beyond. As a tribute to his friend and co-founder, Bhavin helped to endow a fellowship at Cal so that passionate entrepreneurs could afford to pursue their dreams. Hansu's fiancée shared with me this, and I quote, "I'm forever thankful to Bhavin for making Hansu's dreams come true. But even more so, I'm thankful and appreciative of the person he is today and how he has touched the lives of so many as a friend, a father, a boss, a mentor, and a teammate." Another founder says, "Bhavin has more integrity than anyone I've met. The values that he has instituted at Magoosh are phenomenal and serve as an inspiration for younger founders." One employee shared with me that Bavin actually does the dishes at his office. So he's the kind of CEO that does the dishes and is willing to pick up the phone and have a conversation with the smallest of customers, a very special thing. She says it's the millions of little things that make him such an effective leader. Beyond Magoosh, he also makes time for another passion, and that is Ultimate Frisbee. As a board member of a regional association, as a former player, and now as a current coach. In fact, he recently coached a team to a national championship, and next year that team will represent the United States in a world tournament in Australia. And if that weren't enough, Bavin has a quiet and steadfast commitment to building community here that goes well beyond his work and extends throughout Berkeley. He and his wife are devoutly local, with no car of their own, living in the same apartment they did pre-kids, walking to work every day, and welcoming kiddos into his office when they stop by for a quick hello every week. And I'll bet you that he knows most of the names of the small business owners between his office and his apartment. Need some founder advice and mentorship? No problem. Text Bavin, he'll meet you up for coffee. Have a slot for an outside speaker for one of your entrepreneurship classes? No problem. He'll make the time. The city of Berkeley is fortunate to call Bavin Parikh as one of its own. He's a founder, a builder, an employee, a father, and a citizen.
I'm Bavin Parikh, founder and CEO of Magoosh, and we help students prepare for standardized tests. We wanted to provide test prep that was not only effective, not only worked, but that was accessible so that students anywhere around the world could use it, regardless of what kind of access they had. We want to level the playing field. We've aimed to serve everyone regardless of socioeconomic background, but then also enjoyable, and I think this was a key piece for me. I actually wanted students to enjoy the act of prep rather than feeling like it was this necessary evil and this frustrating process that they had to labor through. Students get access to a library of videos that cover every topic on a given exam, thousands of practice questions, video walkthroughs of each question, and then if they still don't understand something at no additional cost, they can reach out to a team of experts, and that expert will work with them through that question. We do so at a fraction of costs of a class or tutor. About 25% of our students are the first in their family to go to college, which is just amazing, and we want to serve those groups even more. Currently, 1 out of every 10 students who takes the GMAT or GRE are paying customers of Magoosh. For many, they've said they couldn't have afforded a class or a tutor or couldn't have gone with another option. Magoosh helped them get the score they needed to get and get into the school they wanted to get into. We also offer a lot of free options. We have free mobile apps, we have free ebooks, free articles, and there's millions of students who've accessed those materials, and we get amazing feedback from them saying, you helped me improve my score and I didn't even pay for your product. And for us, that's great. That serves our mission of making test prep more accessible, but we also know that a number of people who use those free products will ultimately pay, and that helps our business thrive as well. Berkeley's home. I mean, I started the company at business school, but when we rented our first office, which was 3 years after I moved here, I knew that this was a place I wanted to be. I've been here for 11 years now, and I have no plans on leaving. Berkeley also provides a competitive advantage in terms of recruiting. We have access to the amazing students at the university, the undergrads, the grad students, but it's not only that. There's a number of families, individuals who settle in the East Bay or in Berkeley. You can work in Berkeley or the broader East Bay at a high-growth, ambitious company that's also mission-driven and that cares about the community around it. My family and I have 2 kids. We don't own a car, but we use gig car share to get around, and my daughter absolutely loves it. And it's amazing that the city of Berkeley is willing to pilot programs like that.
So, join me in welcoming Bavin Parikh as a 2019 Berkeley Visionary Award winner.
Wow, that was incredibly kind, and it's also very hard to prep for a speech where you don't know what your introducer is going to say, and you don't know what the video is going to say. Michael was our first investor in Magoosh, and he believed in us at a time when very few others did. But what's even sort of more meaningful to me is that about a year after we started the company, shortly after my co-founder was diagnosed with cancer, we also thought the business was going to go under. We had 3 months of runway left. Our expenses far exceeded our revenue, and I emailed our investors and reached out to them and said, can someone help? And Michael was the first and only to unequivocally say, yes, I will write you another check. I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. And he not only did that, he made introductions to other new investors who then also continued to fund the business. And it helped us get through an incredibly trying time. So thank you so much for that. I also want to thank Kirsten and the Berkeley Chamber of Commerce. It's amazing to know the staff's only 3-4 people. I had so many questions leading up to this event and was sending all these emails, and Kirsten was responding at sort of all hours with under an hour. And I thought, oh, there must be a sizable staff putting on this kind of event. And so I'm so impressed and inspired, and I look forward to attending these events in the future. So thank you. Like I said in the video, I moved to Berkeley 11 years ago. I moved here in 2008 to attend the Haas School of Business. I had spent my entire life on the East Coast, and my wife had spent most of her life on the East Coast, and I thought, we'll spend a few years out here, and then we'll probably return east to be closer to family. And I had no idea how much I'd fall in love with Berkeley. It's not just the weather, which is unarguably incredible, not just the food, although you will find us at Cheeseboard religiously every Saturday morning around 9 a.m. So if you're looking for any of that advice, that's a good time. But it's the vibrant community, it's the prioritization of diversity, it's the values that Berkeley Ventures, Berkeley values a notion. That's also something that's really important to me, and we would be proud to continue being in this community and the ecosystem for many, many years, and are excited to raise our kids in this ecosystem. So I'm really excited to be not just a business owner in Berkeley, but also a member of the community, and I'm excited that Berkeley sort of tries to prioritize both and works together to make that happen. And then lastly, well, not lastly, but the team at Magoosh has been incredible, and I've been on this journey for 10 years, and I could not have done this without them. They have helped turn this business into something incredible, not just prioritizing profit, but prioritizing sort of the employee base, the customer base, and the community. Thinking about how can we give back? How can we improve our philanthropic giving? What else can we do to be better stewards in the community? And I'm so lucky to have such an amazing team. There's 5 of them right here who can stick their hands up. And yeah, I feel incredibly fortunate. And now, lastly but not least, I am so lucky to have my partner, my wife, Castle, who has supported me through all of this. We've been together for 14 years, met playing Ultimate Frisbee, so it's a big part of our life. She put together that team that won nationals, and that I'm coaching, and she was not just someone who stood by on the sidelines and supported me from that, but she was actually very actively involved in the early phases of the company. She wrote a number of our blog posts. She was studying for the GRE. She actually tested the product and told me of all the things that could be better. And it was great because it just leveled up our product in the early days. And I'm so lucky to have such a great rock at home. And she's seen me through all the ups and downs, ranging from being deathly afraid of speaking to an audience like this to just being moderately nervous. But it's been an incredible journey, and I'm so honored to have been a recipient of this award, and I'm so happy to be a member of the Berkeley community.
Am I right, though? Wow. That was incredible. Congratulations, Bhavin. Please welcome to the stage our next speaker, Carolyn Winnett, Executive Director of Skydeck.
Thank you, Kirsten. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? You're having a good time? You know you're seeing the future, right? You know you're seeing the future with these founders. They are going to rule the world in a very good way. So I am delighted to be here to introduce our next Very well-deserved award winner. And I wanted to tell a little bit of the story of Chloe because I've known her since 4 startups ago. When I first came to Skydeck as executive director, had no idea what I was doing, here are all these companies around. I'm looking around, and there were a few founders that stood out, and one in particular. And I thought about how do I describe what Chloe is, because that is not an easy thing to do. And it came to me that she is a force that cannot be contained. She was always trying to burst out of this little company she was in to do something bigger. And I could see her straining against the situation she was in, and she worked that company team in as hard as she could, and if that team and company was going to succeed, it would have. It didn't, but it provided her apparently all she needed to know, because every company since then has been a success. And I have to say, in my case, it took me a few failures before my startup succeed, but at Chloe, it just took one. So she went on from Team and Company, which is a jewelry company, and by the way, she not just learned about startups, she knew everything about jewelry. In fact, at that time, I was looking at buying a diamond ring, and so I said, hey, Chloe, do you know anything about diamonds? She said, sit down. I learned everything about diamonds. She offered to source a diamond from some jeweler she knew somewhere. It was a whole incredible education. When Chloe dives into something, she doesn't just dive, she plunges to the very bottom and finds out what's going on. So that was her first company. Her second company, which she founded to, as she said, make some quick cash, to get her out of the, shall we say, we've heard of companies not having any runway. This was a company with negative runway. It was Chloe's credit card debt. And she had $200 in her bank account and $30K in debt. And she says, I got to do something to make money. So she launched a company called Savan Box. And within 72 hours, paid off her credit card bill, plus $10K to spare. So that was only Chloe's second startup, right? So again, Chloe is a force that cannot be contained. A nice e-commerce company selling soap, which is a great thing, right? It wasn't big enough for Chloe. She needed something bigger. So she expanded, and she founded Happy Pay, which is an API for marketing integrations. That company, which is not her current company, which I'm going to get to, made $10 million last year. So now she needs an even bigger platform. And I remember when Chloe said, you know, I'm moving on from Teeman, I thought, at some point, this woman is going to find the thing that's big enough to hold her. And she's going to create it herself. She's going to find an idea that's big enough for Chloe. And so she launched Medinas. And I watched her grow that company from an idea to now where it is today. It is on the 3rd floor at Skydeck, went from 3 companies to 3 employees to 22 employees in 18 months. Along the way, she won several awards. Let me get my notes out, because there's several to talk about. She won the Creator Awards, the $360,000 Regional WeWork Creator Awards in 2018. In 2017, she won $500,000 for the Forbes 30 Under 30 Award. Her company, Medinas, was a Spring 18 YC top company. And that is just the start for Chloe. If you ever want to hear a story about what it's like to really hit bottom as a founder, take Chloe out for a beer and ask her about that experience, because it's something that really expresses how far she's come and how brave she is. And Michael, you just said something. In good times, we're smart, but in hard times, you have to be brave. And every time I spoke to Chloe in those hardest times, I never heard her falter. I never heard her voice shake. I never heard a bit of doubt as to whether or not she would succeed, and I knew that she would. So Medinas is just the start. So let's cue our movie for Chloe.
My name is Chloe Alpert, and I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Medinas Health. We are a digital solution for asset management for hospitals and asset remarketing. which means that we help hospitals buy and sell their pre-owned medical equipment. So things like MRI machines, CT scanners, all the way down to defibrillators and patient monitors. And we help the hospitals recapture capital they might have lost by disposing of these assets. And we actually give them a second life so underserved regions can use this used equipment to help serve a larger patient population. The US healthcare system generates $765 billion a year in waste. To date, we've helped hospitals save nearly $30 million in sales equivalency since we started the company. My grandmother was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. We were just living in a hospital. And while I was there, I was just experiencing the sheer amount of waste and becoming aware of what was happening. And I would see perfectly good supplies end up in the trash that would end up on our bill for hundreds of dollars. And what I couldn't understand is why these things weren't being reused. And I think that we can have a huge impact on that with Medinas. My mission right now is to focus on how can we help bring Medinas to every hospital in the United States and focus on better efficiencies in supply chain and asset remarketing and reducing waste in healthcare. UC Berkeley has just been wonderful to us. We have the relationship with both the City of Berkeley and the Chamber and also UC Berkeley, and we're getting to work with the UC Berkeley students and have some amazing interns. The thing that's great about Medinas is it's a business, but it also has social impact, which is extremely important to me and also important to my co-founders. You know, there's a green impact, there's a fiscal impact, there's a social good impact. We're reducing landfill waste, we're helping bring care to more people, we're helping hospitals recapture more capital that they can use to hire a new physician or pay nurses better or buy new equipment. We seek the truth, and that's Medinas, and the truth is we want to reduce waste in healthcare, we want to work with the best people from any corner of the planet.
Please join me in welcoming a force of nature, Chloe Alpert.
It's really interesting when you hit rock bottom because when you look around you, you just figure, what do I have to work with? What am I going to do? And I remember in 2015, it was December, and I had literally $30,000 on my credit card. I had $200 in my bank account. I thought to myself, how am I going to pay my rent? And it was coming off of a year where I lost my grandmother, I lost a number of family members, my business had failed, my fledgling business that was just a strong part of my identity. And I remember just trying to figure out how do I get myself out of this situation. And, you know, I got really lucky with this, Savan Box going viral. And it's funny when I look back at that situation, how far that I've come. And the reason that I was able to come that far is because I've had incredible people in my life who've helped me get here. Skydeck gave me a place to work when I wasn't even a Skydeck program member. UC Berkeley has given me all sorts of resources. They've allowed me to participate in accelerator programs. I've been able to meet the most amazing co-founders who've helped me grow as a person, who've helped me develop this business. And the thing I think about every day when I go to work is that I get to work with people who are here to help solve a mission that is much bigger than us. It's people who are changing the path of their career to work on something with me, with us. And when you're running a business, you realize that people don't need to be here. The people in this room, you don't have to be here today. And the fact that you took the time to come here and celebrate us and celebrate this moment, or go to work every day and work on that mission, it's truly humbling. And something that I've loved about Berkeley is just everybody here is so passionate about what they're working on. I moved to Berkeley 6 years ago, and I just fell in love with the city. I want to be here. I want to build my life here. I'm building my business here. And everybody I've met in the chamber have just been incredible. Liz has just been there for me for so many things, opened so many doors and opportunities. Kirsten has just been amazing. You're a force. Every time I talk to you, you're instantly responding to my emails. I don't know when you sleep. But truly, I reflect on moments like this, and sometimes it's shell-shocking to think about the journey here. And it's all about tenacity. It's all about going in the face when all hope seems lost. And that's when you really find that creative streak and you really reflect on the people who got me here. So to my co-founders, Jesse and Tim, you're my family. I appreciate you every single day. And to everybody at Medinas, I can't tell you how much I appreciate every second and every moment of your time. And to the people here, thank you so much for making this a day that I can sit down and reflect on this journey and all the people who've made this possible. So thank you all.
For our next presenter, it's Karen Bianchini from AAA.
Hello, I'm Karen Bianchini. I'm the Senior Vice President of Corporate Communications and Community at AAA. I'm also an early user of Gig Car Share and early supporter. In fact, I had the privilege of watching Jason take what was an idea into the thriving business that it is today. I'm honored here to present the Berkeley Visionary Award to my friend and my colleague, Jason Hite, president of Gig Car Share. I thank you for the opportunity to be here at this event. Supporting and serving local communities is a core part of AAA's mission. For over 100 years, we've been helping millions of members enjoy life. We were founded on the idea of helping people travel safely on roads, and we remain committed to that idea today, as well as to making communities better and safer places to live for all of our members and for our employees. Most of you probably know AAA for keeping people safe on the road, and I'd guess that many of you know us for the card that you have in your wallet, or perhaps our yellow tow trucks. But in Berkeley, we are so much more. Our signature black Prius with the turquoise roof rack on it that are whizzing around town are part of our Gig Car Share. Gig Car Share was founded in 2017, and it's grown and just become a thriving business for us today. And we're delighted to be here as part of Berkeley, one of the areas where we actually founded Gig Car Share. Berkeley is also home to our innovation lab, A3 Ventures, which is located on the UC Berkeley campus. We're delighted to be part of this distinguished and academic community, and we're working with the university on a variety of efforts, including attracting diverse and talented people to work at our innovation lab and also at our corporate offices. We're excited to be part of Berkeley, and we appreciate the chance to be here with you tonight. So with that, let's go ahead and flip to the film.
My name is Jason Hite. I'm president of Gig Car Share. I work here at AAA in Northern California. I've been here for 7 years. We launched A3 Ventures 3 years ago, which is the innovation lab for AAA of Northern California. We see the world changing. There are disruptive forces in place that are impacting a variety of our businesses. We know we have to come up with new ways to fulfill the needs, the emerging needs of our members. What that means for Gig Car Share is to provide a more convenient, affordable, and eco-friendly transportation option. Every one-way car share vehicle removes roughly 10 privately owned vehicles from the road. Less congestion for the rest of society driving around, and less pollution for everyone. GIG itself is an acronym. GIG stands for Get In and Go. And the design of the application, the design of the service, is to make it as simple as that. Many of our members have one car in the household, but maybe 2 drivers, or even no cars in the household. Owning GIG allows for a much more easier opportunity to run errands, to drop the kids, to be able to make multiple stops along the way. GIG allows for more flexibility over the course of a day. This coming Thursday, I'm going to be traveling to Chicago. I'm going to be leaving from the Oakland airport. Rather than hiring a ride-hailing cab or asking a family member to drop me at the airport, I'm going to be waking up pretty early, so I'm just going to drive myself. But instead of parking my car at the airport and having to pay the overnight fees for the next several days, I can just take a GIG. For as little as $15, I can be able to be at the airport and be on my way. The city of Berkeley has one of the most progressive departments of transportation, which has been critical to our success launching Gig Car Share here in the Bay Area. We selected this location because of the proximity to downtown Berkeley, the diversity of the community, and the opportunity to create partnerships across the university. Since launching here last October, we've already had 4 interns come over from Cal, helping us in our marketing activities here at Gig Car Share. We feel a strong connection with the community here in downtown Berkeley. We've been serving Berkeley members with the gig services for over 2 years now. We celebrated our 2nd birthday a few months ago. We are really gifted with the leadership and commitment and resilience of the team members here at Gig Car Share. AAA was founded over 100 years ago here in the Bay Area, during a period of high disruption when cars started to replace horse and buggy on the road. Today, we're faced with a similar period of disruption, and our commitment is creating new services that help make AAA relevant for the next 100 years.
So please join me in welcoming Jason Height, president of Gig Car Share, to the stage.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. That was really nice. I appreciate that. Well, good evening. My name is Jason Height. I'm president of Gig Car Share. I'm actually a resident here in Berkeley. I live in Berkeley, I work in Berkeley, and we serve members in Berkeley, which makes tonight that much more meaningful. It's unbelievable, this feeling of being here to accept this award tonight. So on behalf of the whole Gig Car Share team, I say thank you and accept this award. Thank you. I actually have 4 thank yous, though, I'd like to offer tonight, because none of this would have been possible without the support of our community. The first thank you is to the city of Berkeley, our home right here. To the Berkeley Chamber of Commerce, thank you for recognizing the services and the effort and the work we're doing here in the community to bring these services to the city of Berkeley. We also thank you for creating an environment that allows for these new ventures like Medinas, new ventures like Magoosh and Gig, to be able to thrive in the community. Actually, how about another round of applause for our other winners tonight? Thank you to the Berkeley City Council and to the staff for the unanimous approval of the car share ordinance and the opportunity to continue with the program here in Berkeley. Yes, thank you. And thank you to the residents for embracing Gig, for opening your arms to this new service, and experiencing and appreciating the services and the benefits that we bring. Thank you. The second thank you I'd like to share is for the family members of our whole Gig team, the true unsung heroes. And I've got a few special guests here tonight I want to say thank you to. My wife, Demet, my daughters, Nia and Ella, here in the front row. Thank you. Dealing with an entrepreneur in the household isn't always an easy thing. Putting up with the late hours, the sometimes obsessive behavior that you might see, the occasional mood swings, maybe. So I say thank you on behalf of all entrepreneurs. Thank you for putting up with us. The third thank you I'd like to offer tonight is to my colleagues, the AAA team. Starting with our investment committee, thank you. Going back to our very first investment pitch back in August of 2016. Thank you for the support since then. I'd also like to say thank you to my peers, to our peers over at A3 Ventures. This team of team members is launching amazing new services, other services for the community. And despite this, they're still able to find time to help support our Gig team. So thank you to A3 Ventures. Most importantly, I'd like to say thank you to the whole Gig Car Share team across Northern California and across our team members in Utah. Thank you for your leadership, your resilience, your determination to overcome any obstacle that comes in your way. I think it's this innovative spirit and this true passion for service. This to me is, and when we talk about innovation with conscience, this is the embodiment of innovation with conscience. So thank you to the whole Gig Car Share team. Lastly, I'd like to say thank you to our members. Do we happen to have any AAA members here with us tonight? Wow, look at that. What a friendly audience to be around. Thank you. Thank you to our AAA members. Thank you for helping make AAA one of the most trusted brands in America. And lastly, and most importantly, a huge thank you to our gig members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the real reasons why we do this work that we do, and none of this would be possible without you. So thank you, and good evening.
And for our final introducer of the evening is our 2018 Berkeley Visionary Award winner, Rachel Horowitz of Caribou Biosciences.
Good evening. It is my distinct pleasure tonight to introduce Wareham Development, and in particular, Chris Barlow, a partner there, who are being recognized this evening with the Berkeley Visionary Catalyst Award. This is a special recognition for a very special organization. Over the past 40 years, Wareham has grown into one of the largest privately held real estate development and property companies in the Bay Area. Their developments, encompassing more than 4.5 million square feet, are home to life science, high-tech, industrial, and retail tenants. Wareham really stands out in their work because they have created space for small startups to grow and flourish, in addition to large established organizations. They have worked extensively to raise awareness for West Berkeley and to connect industry, academia, and government. You'll hear tonight about not only the impact that their real estate development has on so many organizations, but also about the tremendous impact they have on many STEM causes, which they so enthusiastically support. I'd like to personally thank and recognize Chris and Rich Robbins, Wareham's owner, for their longtime support of Caribou. They have helped us grow our team here in Berkeley through a variety of opportunities and challenges over the years. I think their creativity is exemplified by how they helped Caribou create our first corporate home. We were tenants in the QB3 incubator over on 7th Street that Wareham operated, and we had grown sufficiently that we were ready for our first own corporate space. We went to them to discuss our opportunities, and they actually had no availability in any space in Berkeley. But that wasn't a roadblock. Instead, what they did is actually create a new incubator across the street. They moved all the other tenants over there in 2 waves, and we were allowed to lease what had been the incubator as our first corporate home. In a later transaction with Wareham, as Caribou has expanded from about 10,000 square feet back then to now about 50,000 square feet today, all in West Berkeley, 2 of my colleagues, Barbara and Andy, had gone to visit Rich and Chris to iron out an issue related to a revised lease agreement. They came to agreement during the conversation, and Barbara pushed a piece of paper to Rich across the table. He grabbed it, grabbed a pen, managed to get about an R on the page before Chris leaps across the table, grabs it out of his hands, and admonishes him and says, "Never sign a piece of paper without reading it." Chris's enthusiasm for his organization and his tenants is always on display, whether he's on a routine visit with tenants or making a passionate argument in favor of a new opportunity at a late-night Berkeley City Council meeting. Like many of you, I'm sure, I've enjoyed my fair share of entertaining stories from and about Chris over the years, and I'll leave you with this one in parting that was passed on to me by one of Chris's longtime colleagues at Wareham. As you may be aware, Chris originally hails from the other side of the pond. He also started life in the mining industry before he found a long-term home in the real estate field. Though he seems to have made the industry transition rather smoothly, the language transition was a bit more difficult from what I understand. For example, in the early days, he, in his characteristically enthusiastic approach, asked other members of the team for rubbers. After what I can only imagine was a brief and deeply awkward pause, they cracked up after learning that he was simply looking for erasers. Please join me in congratulating Chris and Wareham.
Wareham's been developing in the East Bay and Berkeley for the best part of 40 years. We like to invest in the organizations, whether they be public sector, whether they be private sector, whether they be for-profit or not-for-profit, that help to develop the culture and the cultural fabric of the East Bay as well. Because as they succeed, the East Bay will succeed. In so doing, we've been very, very fortunate to have developed one-on-one relationships with some very smart people.
I'm the co-founder and CEO of Echo. We build cardiac monitoring and screening devices that use machine learning to help us better understand our heart health. So thankful to Wareham, to the entire staff for giving us a physical home and providing us with the raw ingredients that we needed to make magic.
We were able to give them that step up, which is just what they needed, a home and areas to start getting their roots down, start doing some active recruiting and developing what is a great product. And often in certain sectors, people perceive barriers to be there, that we as an organization have succeeded in taking those barriers down. And if that can help them grow and develop, then that's for the common good.
I'm the president and founder of Urban Adama. I had a dream of finding a piece of property in an urban area that could serve as a training ground primarily for young adults to teach them how to grow food sustainably. We have an entire program that's dedicated to serve financially strapped schools because of Rich's generosity. You know, my life and so many others would not be the same. I will feel grateful to him for my entire life.
And it's very satisfying for us when folks we've helped out like that get to develop and grow and blossom.
Scientific Adventures for Girls is a nonprofit that has the mission of engaging young children, especially girls, in science, technology, engineering, and math. Our organization would not be where it is today without Wareham Development. I mean, I can honestly say that.
Folks were struggling to get well-qualified individuals in the fields of science, technology, engineering, math, the so-called STEM sciences. We're very fortunate to have the ability and the opportunity to make connections between well-connected individuals, well-intentioned individuals, and those who've got the necessary scientific or financial resources to take others forward.
I'm an independent filmmaker. We feel like we really have stories to tell where we want to share with our community, with our country, with the planet.
We partnered with initially the Zantz company themselves and the city of Berkeley, and we formed the Berkeley Film Foundation.
I'm the founder, one of the founders of SaferMade, an early stage venture capital fund focused on investing in companies that eliminate the use of hazardous chemicals in consumer products and supply chains. They just came at me and said, why am I not doing more? Why am I not doing it faster? And what has taken me so long to get to where I am? So the kick in the pants that I got from the Wareham team certainly was a catalyst in helping create SaferMade.
Anything we can share there that helps them move forward faster not only benefits them, it benefits us, and it benefits the whole East Bay as a whole.
I'm the executive director for the Berkeley Humane Society. Wareham has been very supportive of our mission and our efforts to grow our nonprofit for many years.
It's really a fantastic relationship for us and one that benefits the city as well. Can we, as Wareham, help you as an organization to be better than you are right now? And we've been very fortunate and we're very honored to have some great success stories along that line.
Chris, please come to the stage to accept this Visionary Catalyst Award.
When the CEOs are half your age, it's time to retire. Thank you very much indeed for this. A catalyst is an element or compound that speeds up another reaction. without itself being changed. And I think in that case, it's a little bit of a misnomer here, because as I mentioned it there on the film with my extremely flary shirt, we as an organization have benefited significantly from the experiences we've had helping other organizations like that. And that help has come from the ability to help folks with space. Connor spoke from Eco Devices there. And in fact, that was an opportunity we were given by, when Julie Sinai was at the university, to assist with a grant program where federal dollars were available to assist in the Bay Area, but they needed a private sector contribution. And that contribution was a contribution in kind. And in fact, we were able to donate $200,000 of free rent, and ECO was one of the primary beneficiaries of that. So we're fortunate to have these opportunities. Now, in some instances, it's actually quite easy to tap into our pocket. Jeffrey bought puppies. What are you going to do when puppies and kittens go? In that case, it was very unfortunate they had the fire, and again, we were able to give them some space. But what's been great for us is the fact that we as an organization and our team have benefited from those relationships. We've grown and we've learned. And what you've heard from some of the folks here earlier on today, and if you've been to the earlier events here, we've got a whole generation coming through of people who see the box differently and actually see outside the box. And God bless them, sometimes they'll even drop things in the box. But we benefit from that conversation, from that outlook, and how that then can manifest itself into what we do. I should absolutely give recognition to our team. Wareham, as is mentioned, is a privately held corporation. Nearly all our properties are in the Berkeley and Emeryville area. But our team has got representatives here. Judy Wetterer, many of you know. Judy has very much been the face of Berkeley, and through our involvement with some of these other activities, she's been involved on commissions and boards, and we thank you for that. She's been a great ambassador for the company. Polly told me that if I didn't get off here very, very quickly, she'd be extremely angry. Thank you all very much indeed. This is one of the last times you'll ever see me speak without a light on here, so.
And for our closing remarks this evening, please welcome the woman who hired me, my forever boss, Polly Armstrong, CEO Emeritus of the Berkeley Chamber.
Wow, if you want to feel stupid, be the last person to speak on an evening like this. I always like to tell the story of where this idea came from. I became involved in Berkeley politics in the mid-'80s, which is an eternity in politics, particularly in Berkeley. And eventually I worked my way up, and I was a city council member, and I sat through meeting after meeting where instead of the city encouraging businesses and finding ways to bring new businesses and facilitating people who were trying to create jobs, it was a very different atmosphere, and it was very much businesses are evil, they don't take care of their employees, la la la, and it just ate away. I'm the daughter of a stockbroker, you know. So after I retired from politics and took over the chamber, I was in the shower one morning and I thought, oh my God, we could have an event that honors businesses. We are, after all, the Chamber of Commerce. And the first thought that came to my mind was Patrick Kennedy. Is Patrick still here? There he is. So besides rich, Patrick just was a symbol of all the bad stuff that business does. And I thought, nah, nah, nah. So we honored Patrick and someone else, and that was our first event. And there was a little bit of bad attitude on my part that started it, but look at what it's become. It's why people like me get out of the way and make room for others. Yeah. It's just so exciting. The city has come a long way. They love businesses now, too. It was a period. Well, most of them. Kirsten has done, with her team of advisors, a wonderful job of updating the whole process so that now we have people who create things that some of us don't even understand. And that's what Berkeley offers, is this wonderful breeding ground for those operations, partly because of people like Wareham and the crowd, partly because of Mike and all the geniuses he nurtures. I want to talk to you about getting my kid in there somehow, grandchild. It's just become a real, and Skydeck, God, let's not forget Skydeck. Mike Cohen's still here. If it weren't for Mike, there wouldn't be a Skydeck. Let's be real clear about that. Those things all come together, and they've made this pot of brilliant, interesting people who are not only trying to have successful businesses, but are trying to change the world. And it's such an honor to be part of it, and I will always carry just a little piece of pride that Patrick Kennedy and I set the whole thing up. Oh, and David Teese, who couldn't be here tonight, but has funded things that were way beyond anything I could make happen. So, welcome to the 7th annual event, and please come back and year after year and watch how it evolves. And please contact the Chamber if you have ideas of businesses that you think should be recognized. Thank you all very much. That's it. Good night.